courseware. The second one is audio video lectures are there. Okay, just click that audio video lectures, you will get this material, and you are seeing some wonderful courses here. See here, under the domain electrical and computer science, you need to rely upon this kind of tools a lot in order to strengthen your concepts and all. Okay, so here there are two courses for signals. The first one is 6.003, they call it. It's offered during the year 2011. That's the first one. The second one is something called as supplemental signal systems. This course is very important. So click on that also. So if you click on that, you will be getting this Open and Bilski course. So here you can see the video lectures as well as lecture notes are here. You click on that. If you click on that, you get the lecture notes. Okay, lecture notes ready in the form of PDF. So whatever we are discussing in the classroom, it in terms of words, you can read this comfortably. Okay, so clearly you can see. So continuous signal, discrete time signal. Okay, so multi-dimensional signal, for example, image signal, how it looks like, brightness in terms of horizontal vertical axis. Okay, systems, how different types of systems are there. So if you go through the video lecture, you'll see one demonstration also. Very nice demonstration. So this is one material I'm telling you. See, signal systems part 1 is there. If you click on that, see, you can see a lot of examples. See, what is a sinusoidal signal, how it looks like. Okay? We'll see all this in our class. Okay, gradually. So notes, in fact, you can refer to his book, Open and Bilski, and you can refer to this materials. And whatever we discuss in the classroom conceptually, you can apply that and you can do it. Okay, so that's one thing you have to remember. Wherever feasible, I will give notes. Preparing the complete notes will be writing a book. So that will be very difficult. Maybe wherever it's feasible, I will give you notes. But the rest of the ideas, you can take it from here. Okay, this particular material by 6.007 signal systems. The book is also there. Okay, you can refer to the book. So this is 6.003 signal systems. So here, in fact, you can see there are some nice study materials are there. Okay, some good materials. So how a system looks like. In fact, we've seen some of these examples in the class. Okay, today also we'll see something. But the key point is there is enough study material, written materials available. Okay, so you need to understand the concept in the classroom with my class, and wherever you find any difficulty, immediately you can pose it in the next class. There the last class notes I've gone through, I find it somewhat difficult, these ideas. Can you repeat again? If you ask me that, I will repeat it. Okay, as well as if some portions requires some notes or something, I'll prepare that and I'll give it to you. Okay, is it all right, Gautam?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can go. Did you visit these websites before? No?
No, sir. My friend sent me one book, but I saw simply.
Okay.
Alan Me Oppenheim is name.
Yeah, that's a book. I'm talking. He is a professor. He's the man who is handling this class. It was recorded by 1985. This one.
Okay, sir.
Okay, his video lectures are there. I can project some videos also. See this guy teaching this subject in the classroom.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear the voice now? Okay, you can see later on. But that's the idea. Okay, so you can understand the ideas, concepts from the classroom and follow it up by using some of the video lectures wherever you find it. You need not sit through all the lectures. Wherever you have any, see, whatever be the topic, some topics you may be comfortable at, some topics you may not be comfortable. So identify those topics which you feel uncomfortable. You can discuss it in the classroom, okay, my class, and still your doubt persists, maybe you can go through the lectures also, video lectures also. You understand? That's the way forward. We have to think and move forward like that. Okay. So we learned about complex exponential signals in the last class. Then we also discussed something related to discrete complex exponential signals. I hope you can recall that idea. All this taken from the book Open and Bilski. In the book you can refer to. It's Open and Bilski. Okay. You can refer to the book also. So then we discussed about different ways in which the signal can be represented. This e power beta n, Okay, this can be a real one or it can be imaginary. We understood how the signal changes. It can be exponentially increasing or decreasing. What kind of a waveform is what you end up in? Exponentially increasing or decreasing kind of a waveform. Okay. Then we also had a discussion about two major operations in signals. One is the time shifting and time scaling. Other one is amplitude shifting and amplitude scaling operations. Okay. So then we understood something related to complex exponentials. And today's class, before we venture into that, so let me summarize what we have been discussing so far. We need to understand that you are in the signals part now. Okay. So under the signals you learned about discrete time signals, continuous time signals. So under the discrete time signal, continuous time signals, we can classify the signals under different categories. We learned something related to what? Something related to, we need to learn something related to even and odd signals, which I will be covering. Okay. Then periodic and non-periodic. These two key concepts of any signal. Okay. So, these are all the things to learn. Okay. Then we need to learn something about energy of a signal. How to compute the energy and power of a signal. So can somebody give me an example for even signal? Even signal.
Cosine, sir. Half signal.
Okay. We look at the cosine waveform like this. Understand? So at time t equal to 0, signal will be at the peak value. So that's what our unit circle also tells. At t equal to 0, what is the cosine value? It's equal to 1. Then when the angle increases to 90 degree, pi by 2, it becomes 0. So at this point, it's pi by 2. And then it goes on to minus pi. Minus pi is minus 1. Okay. This is pi. Sorry. Pi is minus 1. Then it comes back again to 2 pi. It becomes, okay, it becomes 0. Sorry, at what we call pi by 2. This is pi. This is pi by 2, pi, then 3 pi by 2, then 2 pi. Okay, this 3 pi by 2, it's minus 1. And then it is 2 pi, it is becoming 0. So this is your cosine waveform. And again at 2 pi, is the 2 pi. Again at 2 pi, it becomes maximum. So from this point to this point, you call it as a time period. A peak to peak. Okay, from peak to peak, and again the same waveform repeats. If you look at this waveform, definitely you are seeing that with respect to the y-axis, vertical axis, signal values are all the same. Look at this. At this point, it is whatever values comes. At t equal to minus 1 also it's going to come. So this kind of representation, vertical axis, what do you call pattern, if you are going to see in the signal, okay, whatever value is here, it is here. Whatever value is here, it is here. You can see it. The same thing we are seeing both in the both sides of the vertical axis. So this kind of a signal is called as the even signal. So what is that? Then x of t is equal to what? X of minus t. You understand this? This is t. This is minus t. Clearly you are saying that. So x of t is equal to minus t, then you are calling it as the even signal. The same manner you can imagine what exactly is a odd signal. Okay. If you draw a waveform Okay, or we'll see that, but right now just think about this. Think about a cosine waveform. The cosine waveform initially t equal to 0, that is sine waveform. If you think of sine waveform, the t equal to 0, the value will be 0. Sine waveform. Sine always remember, what is that sign? Y-axis. For the given vector, whatever x-axis component is cosine term, y-axis component is sine term. Therefore, t equal to 0, x component is 1 and y component is 0. Therefore, sine waveform starts at 0. Then it increases. Okay, look at the x component decreasing, y component increasing. So naturally, the y is going to increase like this. Okay, this is a sine wave. This is a cosine wave. So cosine waveforms are odd signals, even signals, and sine waveforms are odd signals. Why? If you look at this case, so this is going to be here. How it's going to be? It's going to be like this. We'll start over. Now to peak, look at this. The waveform is like this. This is the time period. So what is time period here?
Two pi omega.
2 pi omega. So the point is, the time period is what? The time it takes for one revolution, one cycle. Okay, look at this case. It starts here, it goes on like this. Okay. Sorry, not one cycle. So we need to think in terms of the period. Okay, period means what? The waveform repeats. Okay, so if it is x of t is this, what is x of t plus t? It's going to be the same. So for some time period, the signal is going to repeat. So in this case, it's going to be, for example, if I'm going to fix t is equal to 1 second, it means the sine waveform is going to repeat every 1 second. Okay, every 1 second it repeats. The same waveform you can see here. This waveform is the same as this. Okay, at exactly 1 second, it's going to repeat it. So what will be the function of, what is the function you'll be writing for that? Sine, okay, 2 pi f t is your expression. So sine 2 pi f is equal to what? 1 by time period. Okay, 1 by time period. Sine 2 pi by t. So that's equal to sine omega. Omega then equal to what? 2 pi by t. So if t is going to be 1 second, what is the signal? It's going to be sine 2 pi t. It means what? It means what? Every 1 second, the signal is going to have a frequency of it's going to rotate 2 pi radians. Every 1 second. If my waveform is like this, for example, I'm telling my waveform is something like sine, okay, pi by 4 t. This is the signal I'm talking about, sine omega t. Okay, sine pi by 4 t. Then what will be the time period? Time period is going to be equal to 2 pi by 4. It's going to be 4. Okay, so for every 4 seconds, the signal is going to
8 seconds. 8 seconds.
Every 8 seconds. Sorry. Every 8 seconds, it's going to rotate again. So this before it go up, pi get cancelled, get 8. Okay, so every 8 seconds, it's going to repeat again and again. So the time period is something you need to imagine in terms of x of t is equal to x of t plus 1 for a time period of 1. X of t is equal to x of t plus 8 for a time period of 8. You have to understand that please. The same signal x of t will be there after a time shift of 1, after a time shift of 8. Okay, that's the idea of periodic waveforms. So these are all something called periodic waveforms. And also you can imagine for a square waveform, it's a periodic. For example, this can be 1 cycle, and again the same waveform is going to come here. Okay, so this is a completely, this is a time period. Time period is equal to 1 second. So you can think of periodic waveforms. If you are all periodic waveforms, stick on to the concept x of t equal to x of t plus. But you have to understand here one thing very carefully. Uh, yeah, before we venture into that, you have to understand what is the cosine sine waveform, whether it is odd or even. Sine is odd. Why? X of t is going to be equal to, look at this. This is your signal. This is t equal to 0. If you reflect this, you are seeing at the origin, if you turn it down, okay, it's going to be again x of minus t is what I am getting here, but minus of x of t. Okay, so you can clearly see these two waveforms. The difference between either even and odd, you have to be very careful. So this is your even signal. Even signal means the same value will be getting the negative side also. Therefore, naturally x of t, the amplitude whatever you are going to get here at t, it is going to be the same at x of minus t. Okay, the same value you are going to get. But in the case of this, x of t is going to be equal to minus of x of t. Okay, so that's important. So the values are all negative here. See, these values are all negative. So if you look at that case, when this signal is like this, here it is like this. Imagine like that. Okay, so this is like this. So you can think of a minus sign. So even odd signals they play an important role when it comes to a concept called as Fourier series analysis. Okay, wherein you'll be applying this idea heavily. So that's even, odd, periodic, non-periodic. These are some of the properties you'll be learning and solving some problems also. So I'll be giving you some videos on problems separately, 2 or 3 videos. So you'll be using that for understanding how to solve this kind of problems. Quite easy. Comfortably you can do all these problems. But the problem comes only when we are moving from continuous time signals, or particularly for periodic, discrete time signals. Particularly for sinusoidal signals. It's the only difficult concept in this particular question. Sinusoidal signals, understanding it in the discrete time domain. And what happens to that signal when you are discretizing it and studying the periodicity property. The key concept, I'll spend 1 hour on this separately, maybe another 1 or 2 classes down the line. But keep this in mind, keep it in mind, this is the key concept of first unit. Because this idea we'll be using it again and again in the entire course, DSP, control systems, digital control systems, then all other process control. Every subject will be using this. Why, when you are discretizing, okay, the sinusoidal waveform, its periodicity property changes. What is the key concept called aliasing? Aliasing means some signal is trying to, what do you call, duplicate another signal. Okay, so for example, a particular waveform is like this. When I'm sampling it, okay, I may get a different waveform. For this sample,
sir,
yeah.
Not able to see a slide.
Not able to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
It's visible, sir.
Visible? Manikumar, it's visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then in that case, you have a problem in your system. Yeah, this particular samples, for example, I've got some samples here. This may be originally from a sine waveform. Okay, but what happens? Sometimes it may be represented like this. In that case, this square waveform is trying to act like a sine wave. Okay, in that case, it's called aliasing property. That is coming primarily because of the insufficient number of samples. When you are not sampling your original continuous waveform, sufficient number of levels, sufficient numbers, okay, then you will land up in a signal at the output which may be a completely different signal from the original waveform, which in fact you might have sampled. Okay, so that kind of problem you'll see, that's called aliasing problem separately in a class. But right now just keep thinking, there is a problem existing with finding out the periodicity property of discrete time sinusoidal waveforms. There is a huge problem. Okay, so non-periodicity. So you can imagine signals like this. can imagine signals like this. For example, I have a phone. Perhaps it is existing only for a time between some around 30 seconds to minus 30 seconds to 30 seconds. The signal does not exist anywhere else. So this is not repeating. Okay, x of t for any capital T, it's not going to repeat. Not going to repeat at all. So such a kind of a signal you are going to call non-periodic. Period is not periodic. Non-periodic. So you will come across this kind of signals under a domain called Fourier transformation, which you will be learning in the third unit. Okay. So for periodic waveforms, you will be employing a technique called Fourier series in the third unit. But as soon as you switch gears and move on to non-periodic waveform like this, you will be applying a technique called Fourier transform. Okay, the same thing for what you call discrete waveforms also. Okay, discrete sinusoidal waveform. A sinusoidal waveform is periodic. If I am going to sample it, okay, I will be getting this kind of samples. So I will be getting samples of this. Okay, discrete. It's called discrete time sinusoidal. These samples, it is going to repeat again and again in the same manner. This signal is periodic. X of n is going to be periodic with respect to some n, capital N. That n is nothing but this one cycle. Whatever be some number of samples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to repeat for every 6 samples, the signal. So that's the idea. X of n is going to be equal to x of n plus 1. But the key point is, if you add one more 6, 2 times 6, again the signal is again going to repeat. But normally you have to look at only the fundamental period. Fundamental period is what you need to take. Okay, so for example, every x of n will be equal to x of n plus 2 times x also. You have to agree that some 6, another 6 is going to get, therefore it's going to come again the same signal. So that's normally we'll be looking at the most fundamental period, okay, wherein we get the x of n is equal to x of n plus capital N. Okay. Let's see fundamental period we'll be talking about. So then that's the least possible value. You have to understand this n is going to be the least possible value. That value we call it as the fundamental period. All multiples, okay, x of n is going to be equal to x of k plus n for all integer multiples, that you have to understand. But we are taking for the smallest n possible, that is going to be the fundamental period. Okay, are you getting the point? So 2 times x, 3 times x, 4 times x, everything. Okay, all these are periods. 5 times 6, everything is period. But we are going to take only the fundamental. So that is for discrete time. So for periodic, aperiodic is the one concept we need to learn thoroughly in a very proper way. Okay, then we should switch gears, understand, try to pose questions like the energy of a signal, how to compute the energy and the power of a signal. Okay, we'll learn that in a separate class. For take 1 or 2 hours of time to understand this clearly and work out problems. We need to work out problems. So from here onwards, every topic we need to solve problems. Okay. This is how we are in fact moving ahead. So what are the topics I said? Even, odd, periodic, aperiodic, both for discrete and continuous time domain signals. Then energy, power. Fourth type is quite easy. That's called deterministic, and then non-deterministic or random, they call it. Random signals. Can somebody tell me what is deterministic and random? The class?
Deterministic means refers to a particular value, it will be coming. Random means it can come any values, unpredictable.
Very good, very good, very good. So unpredictable is the right term you are using. So deterministic is something, for example, sine omega t. If I'm going to write this function like this, and I'm going to say omega is equal to pi by 4, and I can give different values of t, okay, I can plot this signal quite comfortably. Because signal values are given in terms of a mathematical expression, given in the form of a mathematical model, signal model. So by keep on substituting values for time t, I can plot this signal sin omega t for a particular value of omega by 4, and I can generate my waveform quite comfortably. So deterministic means I can predict how the signal behaves using what? Mathematical models. Okay, it's called mathematical models, math models. Using math models, I can comfortably represent the wave. So if I'm going to have some signal A, which is something like this. Look at this signal carefully. You cannot predict what is going to happen next moment. For example, I am at time t. Okay, some time. Look at this. I am at some time t here. I can tell what's going to happen when some time t plus some pi by 4 or some time t plus some 3.14. I can tell exactly. By using this particular sin omega t function, I can plug in values for time t, and I will be knowing the continuous time values at every, as it's an independent variable, okay, t. For every time t, I can get sin omega t. So I know what are all the values. Comfortably, I can compute that. That's why it is deterministic. You can predict how the signal is going to behave. But non-deterministic or something, you cannot predict. Cannot predict. That's the key. Okay, you cannot fit a math model for non-deterministic signal or random signal. It's called random. For example, social scientists, they have been predicting about the human welfare and all for quite a long time. Okay, but nobody has predicted the COVID. It is a very rare event. This is a kind of is a classic case of randomness. How it has changed our life forever. The economic professors throughout the world, they have predicted 2020 we are going to have very high growth rate. By year 2019, they have predicted this using some math model, deterministic math model. But what has happened now? The entire world economy is going down. Okay. So the economists, with their models, they tried to model a random event, and therefore it has failed. So you cannot fit a mathematical model for random signals like this. Okay, random signals. So which you cannot predict. But sin omega t I can predict what's going to happen at time t. For any time t I can predict that because I have math model in hand. Signal is modeled. You understand? So that's the idea. So I think so with that we'll be moving on to something called linear time invariant systems. After learning this classifications of signals, based on what? Continuous time, discrete time. Then what? Even, odd. Then what? Periodic, non-periodic. Then followed by what? Energy and power. Then deterministic, non-deterministic. These are all the various classifications of signals. And once when you take these signals and you're going to apply it to a system, okay, the system what we are talking about is called as LTI system. And here we will be studying these LTI systems under two different modes. One is impulse as an input. Another one, sinusoidal as input. Then we'll go for a big climb, okay, a big jump. We'll be talking about something called the LTI system and its properties too, like causality, very simple ideas, stability, invertibility of the systems, linear systems, and what exactly is linear is. You learn that, then immediately go for a big jump, and that's what this. With this, I think we'll be winding up the first unit. And the second, third, and fourth unit will be applying the ideas what we have discussed so far in the last few of classes, something called impulse-based decomposition. Second unit is full of impulse-based decomposition for any signal in the world. We have already learned that. How using shifting theorem, we can take any signal x of t and you can take a particular value of signal out. Okay, a particular value of t. Okay, you can take it out by multiplying with what? Del n minus t. So you'll be getting x of k out. Okay, this is the kind of idea in fact we discussed. So that's what we're going to learn. The second unit, impulse-based decomposition for any signal. There is a standard mathematical expression for that called convolution. It's a very powerful idea. We'll be studying how the system is going to behave by decomposing the signal, any signal into impulses. We can apply a proper mathematical idea called an operator, in fact, convolution operator, to study the response of any kind of LTI systems. LTI systems. It's a very powerful idea. That's about second unit. Only this we'll be learning. Under this, some few concepts related to differential equations and difference equations you'll be learning. And then we'll move on to unit 3 and 4, wherein we'll be talking about complex exponential based signals decomposition. That's where discrete time Fourier transform comes. E power j omega. Using this signal as a basis, you'll be doing it operation. Discrete time Fourier transformation, continuous time Fourier transformation, Fourier series for periodic waveforms, and then discrete Fourier series for periodic waveform, and then Z transform, complex exponential for Z transform, and we also be learning Fourier transform for continuous time Fourier transform, discrete time Fourier transform, then Z transform. Okay, these are all the things you'll be learning. Laplace you will not be learning. Okay. Laplace you will not be learning. So with that, we'll be finishing off all the 4 units. The last topic is Z transform. I think you have got now a very clear bird's eye view about what we are going to do in this subject, and we need to master these techniques. That's our goal. Okay, particularly problems. We need to solve problems. Take problems, sit with that, think, and you have to solve. I'll solve few problems in the class. I'll give some assignments. Take up all these assignments with seriousness and solve all the problems. Okay, once you gain mastery over this, you will be very confidently go out as an engineer, electrical instrumentation engineer, and you can survive under any situation, any difficult situation. Okay.